She's a defender of donuts. 3 meals are faster than none. She'll make it all good in your neighborhood. She'll make sure we have loads of fun. Who will help Lily? Who will catch Billy? It's Trixie the Tricycle Trooper.
Hi Flosstube, my name's Jody and I'm Trixie Tricycle on both YouTube and on Instagram. This is a channel about cross stitch and other crafts related to cross stitch. Also a little bit of crochet, knitting, and just kind of delving into a tiny bit of some quilt applique, some sewing, old sewing machine collection and repair, and watching my dogs wander around in my craft room here as I start to record. So they're usually pretty calm, but they're kind of wandering right now. So we'll see how they do. We have a lot to cover tonight. It's been a couple weeks since my last video, and I have been doing quite a bit of sort of wild and varied things, but I wanted to talk tonight. We'll do some Happy Mail. I want to show some previous cross stitch finishes that I finally got around to FFOing. Gonna show you this kind of a project bag modification that I did that seems to be working pretty well for me. I've been sort of thinking about it for a while, so talk about that a little bit, go through whips and starts, and then I want to go through the projects that I have kitted up that are in the fall / Halloween / spooky changing seasons theme. And then maybe if we have time, show some charts also that are related to the sort of fall, spooky, whatever, Halloween season. But first of all, I wanted to sort of chat about Happy Mail. I got a little gift from Abby Bella Stitch. I have to share this with you guys because it's super cute. So she sent me, first of all, this card, which is really adorable. It's really nice when people send, mail. I need to be a little better about it. I haven't done a whole lot of it. But I think that with the Floss Drop that Mama Loves You GB is starting, that's going to sort of kick off maybe some, I'll start to sort of have a little bit of a list of addresses and things that I can start sending out to people. Because I like snail mail. I think it's a really, we're lucky that we have it, and I really love using it. And so I know sometimes it takes a long time, but when you get something actually physically in the mail, it just feels really good. So thank you so much. This was really, really sweet. But anyway, so cute little card. And inside she included a little baby prairie schooler. Look at that cute house. Isn't that cute? And that moon face. I love little face on his moon. Can you see it? Is it focusing? You guys probably see it, but anyway. And then I think we sort of have some of the same ideas around, talking about safety tips. And so she said that this made me think of her. Or this made her think of me. Yes, that's the way. Maybe this will be my screenshot. What do you think of my thumbnail? I love this. Thank you. It made me laugh. So anyway, thank you. Speaking of the great Floss Drop, I can't remember the hashtag now. Michelle. So Mama Loves You GB came up with this great idea. You guys are probably seeing it on Instagram. She went to Vistaprint and had some business cards printed in a vertical orientation, and on the back she had printed just DMC so that you could put the color, you could stamp it, you could put it on a floss ring, and then if you wanted to, you could trade your cards or trade your floss drops with other people that would do the same thing. So I was all excited and I was like, yay. So I went and ordered it and just used an image that I figured would be, kind of like my channel. And then I started seeing all these beautiful, like really artistic and kind of eclectic. You wouldn't necessarily be able to identify who it was that had made them. Mine are totally like shameless self-promotion. Which I don't think was the point. It's too late now. But I may end up just reordering different ones. But anyway, in the meantime, this is what I came up with. So the image that is on the front of some of my videos, the little girl on the tricycle, you guys may or may not know, that's me when I was super little. So this is me next to the side of my mom's house, my grandmother's house. And so I just had these made, just plain white cards. This is a half an inch hole punch. The 1 inch was a little bit too big. And then on the back, instead of DMC, I had put just the maker. I just printed the maker and what color it was. And that way, if you need to split a skein, like if you get a Week Style Works or Gentle Arts or something else that you want to just take a few of, you know, you could always just kit up a project with just partial. Anyway, so that's kind of what I thought of. So anyway, if anybody's interested, there's a hashtag on Instagram. I'll put it on the side here. And then I was messing around with cabochons. Is that how you say it? Cabochon. These little Floss Drop blingy things. And I just used my 1 inch hole punch. I think I'll give it to my mom. Mom, you want a cabochon with your kid in it? Sure you do. Anyway, Michelle, this is a great idea, and I'm really looking forward to doing some trades with people. So let me know. I have a bunch if anybody else is interested in doing that. All right, so we're going to talk about some previous finishes. This I did about a year ago. So this was my first attempt at like a little ornament. And I don't even remember what tutorial I followed. I'm guessing it was probably Vanna because she does all the finishes, and she's the one that probably as a new stitcher I tracked down and found. But I don't know that Vanna would necessarily be super stoked about. I don't want to assign any blame for the, it's not even really primitive, it's just, it's pretty rudimentary, let's just call it that. Yeah, it's rudimentary finishing. Anyway, it was taken from a couple of little motifs off of this chart, this haunted manor house. And it's by Katrina Hiddle of Artful Offerings. So this is the chart, and hopefully I didn't show you. Yeah, that's just the materials. I didn't do the whole thing. I just grabbed this little cat and did the little chain around it, and then used some zeros and the bee off of the chart. And then I just put a little black linen and did a little flat fold. I think it's adhesive on both sides with a little bit of batting, just some little natural cotton batting. This cording, I think, came off of a, like, I don't know, some kind of a shopping bag. I honestly think it did. I think I still have the shopping bag upstairs with one handle. Because of course I do. Anyway, and then I just stitched around the edge with 6 strands of orange DMC. I don't even know that it was DMC, actually. I'm thinking about it now, and I think it was just sort of like one of those random generic Amazon thread, which I should really use more because I have a whole cabinet of that stuff. And I'm sorry, but I wish I could show this to you. One of my dogs is literally just sitting, staring straight at a set of shelves. There's nothing on them. You can't even see that there's like a door. Charlie, what you doing, buddy? Can you come here? That's a good boy. Come here. This is my first little kind of start. So, previous finish. And I actually did FFO that last year, for what it's worth. So the next one, this is an Etsy design. I can't really show you the chart. But I will link it. The name, and I don't even know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my records of what the name of the designer was. I didn't stitch the text. I just stitched this little rainbow unicorn. And then I just got these little 3-inch embroidery hoops and painted them. This is just a little bit of acrylic, black acrylic paint. And then I just finished the back with some wool. Put a purple ribbon on it, and it's really cute. Up until this point, I just kind of had it floating around. Didn't really... So anyway, I thought it was really cute. If you look really close, his eye is blended. It's like a little purple and blue together. Again, I think this was just random generic floss that I don't think I even know specifically the colors. It's like, use gray. Okay. All right, the 2 down. The next one, you guys have seen this finish before, and this is the Mandala Dragon. And I really haven't known what to do with it, and still, this is just kind of a, it's not a throwaway, but I did find a chart, or not a chart, a frame at a secondhand store for about $2, literally $1.99. And it had these, it's sort of separate little panes on this little frame that you could put probably a variety of pictures in, like a little picture mashup medley thing, which I could do. But for now, I went ahead and did this because it kind of reminds me of, it reminds me of 2 things. It reminds me of when, like, in Jurassic Park, when that Tyrannosaurus Rex like peers in the window of the car and the kids are like, ah. It's a great scene in a movie. But it looks like he's just kind of chilling, looking in the window. And I don't know if this is the cool place or not, but have you guys ever seen those, there's like photos where there's a place called Giraffe Manor, someplace in Africa, which just looks incredible. It's like you're staying in this really cool old house, and then your bedroom's on the 2nd floor someplace, and the giraffes just come up and you could just feed them out of your window. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, this is it looks like a $2 finish, right? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip and do something really quick. And there's a method to my madness because the next part, which is another FFO, is gonna take me a little longer to show you guys. So I've talked to you guys about the project bags that I made, and they were based on a tutorial that I watched by a YouTuber named, her channel is Jenn Craft. So this is the size of the project bag, and let me not show this chart. How about that? Just put that there. So, you know, it's got the vinyl front, and then it's self-binding, which just means that the back, you press it over and then stitch little mitered corners around the edges. And it's really great tutorial. I'll link that below too so that you can go back and watch it, because she's got 2 different sizes. There's the bigger size, I think ends up being, it's 10 inches tall by 13 inches wide. And that's perfect for most projects, unless you want to put in like a full-size chart. And by full size, I would just mean, you know, an 8.5 by 11. It tends to get a little bit, and some of them are even a little bit bigger, like the Barbara Anna charts are actually taller than that, so you can't fit them in there. So you can make a working copy, and you can just, you know, put in whatever but I kind of like to have the whole package, especially if I'm kitting things up. So I modified it a little bit to begin with. I started making them a little bit taller. So I added a section here, and so then it was, you know, tall enough that you could fit width-wise, but it still wasn't quite long enough. And when I was making these bags, I was noticing that I was getting all these kind of little offcuts that were not, you know, I'd use a fat quarter, but then I wasn't getting a lot of efficiency out of the fabric that I was using. So I've been sort of brewing over this for a little while, and it got me thinking that because math, that there's got to be a good way to make a size project bag that would work, that would also maximize the use of a fat quarter, the use of the batting, like the fusible fleece, which comes in 44-inch wide rolls, and the use of the vinyl, which comes in a 55-inch roll if you buy a few yards and just have them roll it for you, like at Joann Fabric or wherever you buy it. So those are my goals. A fat quarter, it's 18 by 20 to about 22, I believe. So this is the size. Oh my gosh. Okay. My dog is, the other one is so stinky. Wow. I'm sorry. Ooh. Okay. So. That is brutal. My poor old Ella Lab has very, very bad gas right now, so I'm working through it. But whew. Anyway, a fat quarter of fabric is 18 by 22. That's the basic, and so, you know, trying to get as much out of it as possible is helpful. And what I found is that with this particular bag, I can get 2 full bags out of, or yes, 2 bags out of 3 fat quarters. So that includes the lining, the back, the strips that go along the top and are on the side for me, next to the zipper. And so what I'll do is I'll find a fabric that's got just sort of a generic background that could be used for the lining, and then something that would coordinate with that. So this would be one project bag, the main design, and then this would be the other one in this particular case. And so they would each go with, you know, this background. So I'm going to have 2 different bags. One that'll look like this, and the other one will look like this. This is what I ended up with. Okay. So you can see it's a little bit taller. I store them on the side like this. And the finished size ends up being 10.5 by 15.5. So it's 10.5 this direction. I use a 12-inch zipper, and then it's 15.5 this way. And so this background I used for 2 different project bags, and then this is used specifically for just this bag. Now when I cut the back and cut the 2 strips, what I'm left with is enough fabric so that I can make a pocket on the inside, and I can also make a little tab that I stitch in to the top that you can hang your floss or scissors or whatever else from. And I just got, you know, some little lobster claw hardware. You could use whatever you want. This is just a keychain that loops in there, but you could use a floss ring just directly up in through this. This happens to fit one of these smaller Plum Street size charts, but it also fits the SWard project tracker cards, which are kind of nice. So if you had a larger chart and you wanted that to be in there, it would accommodate it just fine. And then when you're working on your project, like pretend this is, you know, this is your visible chart. You can keep it in your project bag. You've got your floss out and you can just be working on it and have your chart protected. So there's no excess. Everything gets used. This little strip ends up being one of the scraps from the backing fabric, as is the pocket. And I just am kind of stoked about that. So, you know, I don't sell project bags or anything else like that. But I do like when things work together, and I don't have a lot of extra scrappy scrap around. It's because I don't do a ton of quilting. I mean, I will, I think, at some point, but I'm not really trying to save a whole bunch of little, you know, beep, so that I can do either miniature quilts or, you know, half square triangle stuff or whatever at this point. That's not really what I'm about yet. So what I'll do, if anyone's interested, I don't know about doing a tutorial. I can try. If you guys are interested in how I put this together, I'd be more than happy to attempt to do a sort of basic tutorial for this, but I will at least put the measurements, if you like, in the bottom. And, you know, yeah, I think I'm more than happy to have people use it, because I think that it's working really well for me. And so I kind of like to share that. If you're going to sell them, maybe just, you know, credit me for the measurements or whatever. Just like, hey, this idea came from Trixie Tricycle, and either tag me on Instagram or, you know, credit me on my channel, whatever like that. And again, I would say that that's just for people that are selling project bags and that want to use this specific. It's not like I invented project bags. I don't need you guys to, like, you know. But I'm kind of proud, you know. It took this wildfire smoke that you see in the air, not to make light of it, but some of it may have been the steam coming out of my ears trying to do the math on this, because I'm not like Stephanie and Just Keep Stitching, where she can just, like, you know. This is Flosstube number 8, which is 8. I love how she does that. Flosstube number 214, which is, and she does all the numbers and then it adds up right. I love those girls so much. Someday you guys are going to get to meet my mom, maybe. What do you think, Mom? You want to come and do a little guest bit on my channel? Mom Tricycle? Maybe? Mom? Okay. We'll think about it. Okay, so that was my fully finished project bag project. Last time I finished this chart, JBW Designs French Country Crow. She just did a Flosstube episode, and go watch it because she does some finishes in there. They're little box finishes. They're so cute. Oh, they're really, really good. And she's just lovely. I just really like her. So anyway, French Country Crow. This is my other chart that I finished. And this is how, oh, hold on, hold place. Don't want to ruin the reveal. You know, we're not going for structural soundness here. Okay, so this is my little French Country Crow finish. And draped across the top of it, which is what I was just rescuing, is charm bracelet that belonged to my mom that she gave to me, or that I have custody of right now. Technically it's still hers, of course it is. And these are these little old silver charms where most of the little pieces move, like that carriage, the wheels turn, and there's a lawnmower that has the little blades turn. Anyway, I love it. It's really cute. And this I used, so this was on 40 count white linen with stitched with Black Crow Dental Arts. This lace is from one of those sort of caches of vintage sewing notions. This was made in 1970, so it's just a bit of talon lace seam binding that I added to it. And then this is just a piece of grosgrain ribbon around the top. And this fabric. So this is it Kathy Holden? This is for Moda, and this is part of the Flea Market Fresh. And this is the one with the little French stamps. And it's in the colorway Parchment, I think. And I got this from Kitten Stitcher's website. I don't know if she still has it or not, but I know that it's not terribly old. It's been around for... And then the back just has some black wool. So I thought that was kind of cute. And what I plan to do with this, and the reason that I kind of put this here, it's not really permanent. These buttons are some that came out of that jar that Kelly, Minimalist in the Making, tracked down for me when we were in antique shopping. And so I thought about adding Mama Loves You GB. Michelle had done a really cute finish where she like stitched a whole little fringe of buttons on the bottom, which is really cute. I've seen a lot of people add just like little, you know, safety pin with a little charm on it, or they'll just tie things on or sew things on, or add like a little, like a wool pocket that you could hide like a little ring or something cute in. And it made me think like, it's kind of like what crows do, where they'll find things, mostly food, and go stow it away someplace. And if you watch them, they've kind of got specific places where they'll go and track things down. And I've mentioned this before, but I love crows. I love crows. And crows, it's kind of a misnomer that crows collect shiny things. They're drawn to them, especially younger crows. They're drawn to them because they like to play with them. And, you know, of course, lots of little animals like. But what crows do in some rare instances is they will bring each other gifts, or they'll bring people gifts if their people are, you know, feed them on a regular basis. There are some crows that are in the habit of bringing the people things, which is super, super cool. But it made me think like this, you know, to make like a little crow collector to have around, just sort of hanging, you know, you could have this up all year pretty much because it's not specifically for any particular holiday. And I tried to make it as neutral as possible, but you know, it feels a little autumnal. Anyway, crows are some of the smartest, if not the smartest birds. I'm going to link a TED Talk that I've watched it probably 10 times. But it was about a guy who was researching whether or not he could get crows to operate a vending machine. And it's not the vending machine in the sense that you're thinking of. It's not like they're getting Cokes out of it or anything, but it's super, super fascinating. I'm not going to go into it here because it's just too long, but I'll link it below, and I strongly encourage you to go watch it. Anyway, this is my crow finish, so I'm going to just start adding little things to it. So it gave me a chance to kind of take a look at some of the charts that I have that are crow related, and I thought we would just slam through these really fast. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time, but I wanted to show you how many crow charts I have and just see, you know, so grab a pencil. So it's hindsight, vintage Halloween crow. Super cute, super simple, tiny little chart. I think I got it almost a year ago. And this is what I think made me think of, you know, the crows collecting shiny things. This is the Erica Michaels chart, Be Like a Crow, which I think is so funny. Be like a crow, collect shiny things, hop happily down the street for no apparent reason, scream loudly when you see your friends. It's really cute. Look at that. That's a very cute chart. She's got some different ways that she's got it finished on the back too, which I really like. This is a la-di-da. This is called a murder of crows, which I'm sure is a pretty common, but a group of crows is called a murder. You know, it's like a pod of whales. It's a murder of crows. Same la-di-da, old crow. I feel seen. Plum Street samplers. This is Halloween delivery. Lots of people have stitched this one. I love it. Willow Hill samplings. Autumn Alphabet has that little kitty and the crow, and I love those that the pumpkins are blue. Kind of an aqua color. Aren't they pretty? This Barbara Anna, the Fruit Thief. That one's from Creative Poppy. Look at that chubby little raven. I love Barbara Anna. I love her scale. Giant bird. Little tiny houses far away. Here's another one. The Witch, the Crow, and the Pumpkin. And I think this one uses some little wool medallions around the edge. And how sweet is that? So, those are just a brief look at some of my crow charts. We're still going to talk about other charts later, so buckle up. Okay, let's go into some starts. Last time I talked about this Busy Little Bee, How Doth the Busy Little Bee by Modern Folk Embroidery. And then I was going to do a little test and see if I could use some of that Corticelli silk on a dark piece of fabric and see how that would stitch up. So this is what I found. With these, I think Jody from Steel City Stitchers was gifted a spool of about the same weight of silk thread. And it was an anchor thread, an anchor silk thread. And it was, you know, it's old vintage brown. She started stitching with it, and she'd mentioned just in passing, I was in the car, I was kind of watching, but I was driving in the part where she was talking about, she goes, you know, that she had stitched something with it. And she's like, it's not easy to stitch with. It feels like stitching with a strand of hair. And that's the best description that I can give you for this. Especially trying to, I was like, oh, I'll just stitch small and over one. It's really, it holds its shape. And so when you're stitching it, it kind of feels like it wants to bounce back just a little bit. So I tried it with 2 strands. So anyway, I did a couple of different tests. Let's see here. Can you see? Let's see if you can see that. So there are a couple of different, I did a 1/1. You can see that all the way over on this side. And then I did 2/2 and 1/2. So 2/2 is all the way out here. Move that out of the way. And then 1/2. So the jury is still out. The coverage is not great, and it is a little bit difficult to work with. And so what I thought I would do between now and my next video is to try, because some people commented that they had used buttonhole twist. So I thought maybe what I would do is try this and see if that would stitch a little bit more easily. This is going to be fantastic for any kind of applique or other stitching that I want to do. And I think getting used to it, it probably would be okay to stitch with. But I just, you know, now I'm kind of in the experimental stage, so I want to see. The trick with this one is that I've only got just under, looks like just under 50 yards. And so I'm going to have to see if I have enough to do this. And it is just a little pin keep, but, you know, it'd be kind of a bummer to get it halfway done and then ran out of. Or maybe I'll just do the border, start the border with this, and then that way I could do the inside with something else. So anyway, so kind of a start, more of an experiment. The next one's an actual start. And today I have not pressed anything. There's going to be a lot of things in scroll frames and a lot of things that are just coming out of the project bags because I want to get through a lot, and I got a lot going on otherwise, so I'm just going to keep kind of rolling. So apologies for the no pressing presentation. We're going to survive. This is Pride Tapestry by Kari Nagin and D20, who is D's 20 Stitches on YouTube and on Instagram, who I will link. So I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count Be Stitch Me fabric. This is the Fabric of the Month Club in the colorway Peony, and I'm using some variegated DMC floss that I'm sort of adapting as I go. So I think it's coming out really pretty. I like it. And I think that once the whole pattern is done together, I think it's going to be kind of, I really like this green on the leaves. And I'm doing that 2 over 2, 2 strands over 2. And so when I'm using a variegated floss and doing 2 over 2, I'll pull out a length of 6 strands, cut it, and then use that, take out 2 strands, and then put those together so that I get the matching variegation rather than just, I don't use a loop method where I would pull 1 strand of DMC, loop it together, and use that as my 2 strands, which is what I would normally do on just a plain DMC floss. And again, you guys are probably like, yeah, that's how you do it, Jody. But for anybody else that might be new like me, that's how I'm doing it. Because otherwise you end up with, you know, you've got this variegation for these threads, and it ends up being inconsistent, and you don't get the same really remarkable sort of variegation. Now, if you wanted just to be, you know, like a little bit of variation, not too much, you just kind of wanted it to blend more together, you could totally do it the other way. Pull a piece out, loop, and then it would just be like a, you know, an actual blend. So, but I'm doing it the other way this time. Really like this chart. Really like the people that made this chart. Really like what this chart stands for. Happy I'm stitching it. Next work in progress. Oh, let's start works in progress. Those were my starts. Was that it? Yeah. So, works in progress. Strawberry Fields Forever by SwardDesigns. This is in the Magical Mystery Tour series. And I'll pop this one off the Q-snap actually. Do I want to do that? I'll keep it on. Sorry, it's on Q-snap. There it is. This is my mobile project. So this is the one that I've been taking with me when I have a few minutes at work. I'll put some stitches in, but the house is done. Started working on a lot more of those vines and berries, working my way up and starting across the top on that border. So, unbelievably inspired colors. Stitch called for. And this is on a piece of 32 count honey linen by Be Stitch Me. Same Fabric of the Month Club. And here are the flosses. Again, it's all called for. Pretty greens and reds, and that little bee Floss Drop. I bought that at Victorian Needle Arts, and that is from my Big Toe Designs. Victorian Rose Needle Arts. Tinka, who is in Florida. All right, keep rolling. This is Mary Griffiths, and this is again with the called for flosses. This is a stitch along for Ellen Reed's birthday. We started last month. Ellen Reed is, Elpoo is here on Instagram, and she is Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour, and she is amazing. She just showed on her last Flosstube like these two literal, like for me, they're gonna be like, they would be like lifetime size finishes. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. We're not worthy. I aspire to Ellen. All right, so this is where I am. This border is very uneven, as charted. Emily from Emily C. Eclectic Possessions has been stitching this also, and she's flying through it. It's like every time I see her post something on Instagram, I'm like, so pretty. But I love it, and I love all the colors. This moss green, this is a Weeks Dye Works moss green, and the variegation is very pretty. Okay. Next, this is a stitch along that I'm doing with the aforementioned Ellen Reed and Laura from Brendan the Serial Starter, Laura. Nikki Noodles, Kathy Purdon, who is from Tasmania, who I'm going to talk about in a minute. Gwyneth, who is Curling Stones and Cross Stitches. She is from Canada. Betsy Klager, Caroline, Off the Grid Needle Arts, and she has the Evertote store, which is fantastic. And she's actually partnered with Jacob on a few of his charts, and they're she's got them kitted up, and I'll link her store, but talk about her a little bit more. Anyway, so we are doing this as a stitch along, and the plan is to finish it at the end of the year. It is a Hogmanay sampler, which means that the date on it is December 31st. So we'll put in the last stitches on December 31st, so that's the plan, barring unforeseen events. And this is where I am. This is still in the scroll frame with flying threads and everything. So I just finished the house. Still have to do the back stitching on the windows. And like I said the last time I showed this, the fabric on film is showing a little bit lighter than it is in person. You know, and because it's lit, it's going to show a little bit lighter, but texture-wise, it's just fine, and I can see it, and with the things that go in on the pattern around it, I think it's going to be just fine. But, yeah, so that's where I am on that one. This is by Birds of a Feather. This is, unfortunately, an out-of-print chart. This is Sally Spencer. And I'm stitching this on a piece of light hazelnut. Oops. I believe this is a 36 count light hazelnut. And I actually have modified the yeah, so I've modified some of those colors a little bit. But I made a little progress. Got another one of those rows in, started putting a couple more flowers and working down the sides. And it's really sweet and small, and I love it so much. And you notice I haven't put Sally's last name in yet, right? Just gonna tuck that away. Wonder if Sally Spencer was 50 years old. What's she talking about? I don't know. She looks like she can kick. All right. The last work in progress that I'm going to show you is the wool applique that I had showed you that was part of the SWardDesigns quilt along that Olivia B and Lori Textilist are hosting. It came out of this quilting book, When the Cold Wind Blows. This quilt is called Harvest Basket, and it has, it's hard to see, but at the very top of each of those quilt blocks is a bird motif. And I went ahead and did that in wool because I just wanted to get some practice using the pattern, using the freezer paper, pressing that on, getting it cut out, and then just doing some, you know, big stitches. I did whip stitch it. I didn't do blanket stitch on it, but you know, just to sort of see. And I figured that a wool applique piece would be an easy way to do that. But then the question was, well, how are you going to finish it? So the stitching part is done. So this is that's the little piece that I did, and it is a variety of greens, and I put a moon behind that bird, and it came out pretty cute. But I've been thinking that I wanted to have some type of a project carrier, project fold, something that I could use not only for applique, but if I wanted to throw in a stitching project, I could. And I like to be able to carry a scroll frame, right? And it just makes it easier to keep it in that and to keep it protected. And so this is wide enough that I can actually, gosh, I can't even show it. It's kind of big. There. You see it? Hello? Hello? Anyway, so I still have to bind it. I have to bind the edges, but this is just a 3-fold. So if you open it up and then it opens again, and then it's got some pockets and some spots where I can put my applique scissors, and then the bottom, this is actually another pocket, and it's big enough, you can see it's lined, it's big enough so that I can fit a book. I can put a quilting book down here. I can put in freezer paper, I could put in a cross stitch chart, I could put whatever. So it's big enough that I can do that. And then these little pockets are for applique scissors. So like, let's see if I can do this in reverse on camera. Oh, look at that. I'm magic. And then I'll probably just put like a little, you know, little strap or something in there so they don't go flying around when I'm carrying it. And then it just folds up. And I'll have some kind of clasp mechanism that will keep everything from flying out, and then it just looks like a big envelope. Great big envelope. So, yeah, and it'll kind of just keep everything protected and keep everything together, and just gives me a chance to have a great big huge carry around project envelope. So that is my last work in progress. And that was for the SwardDesigns quilt along. Which, by the way, has just been a really fun thing to see everybody's projects on Instagram. So I got all this fabric, and the project bags I showed you earlier, most of those are done with, you know, kind of cheap fabric that I either got at Joann or and I'm just trying to just sort of practice with that. And I need to just suck it up and use this fabric that I've been buying. What are you saving it for? Like, make some stuff with it. It's kind of like I got these, look at this, like in this cabinet. It's like, what's it doing in there? Just start cutting it out, sewing it together, making beautiful things. So that's my goal for this fall, is to just go cut it out. Sheesh. All right, so I think what I want to do last here, I want to show you some charts and some kitted projects. And this is going to be a full kit parade, but I want to just go through a few. So I mentioned her earlier, mentioned her earlier, but Kathy from Tasmania, and she's Kathy Purdon. I'll put her Instagram because I want you to go check out. She's got some really, really beautiful stitching that she does. She doesn't have a floss tube, but we're working on it. Aren't we, Nikki? Anyway, she posted a photo of someone who had stitched these 4 charts all as one piece, which was kind of cool. And they are these Brenda Gervais Summer Schoolhouse. So this is like lesson 1. Lessons in, is it Abecedarian? Is that how you say it? Pretty sure. It's lesson 1. So that's A through G. Lesson 2. That's got HIJK and the LMNOP. And look at how they, look at this little suggestion for displaying them in these jars with buttons and cute. That's such a cute idea, right? This is lesson 3. The R through V. Remember me. And this is lesson 4. And then 4 has, on the flip side of the cover, it's got all of them in a little box with this strawberry and this, I think it's a mini emery. Yeah, oh, it's a miniature hornbook. Look how cute. Anyway, the colors are great. It's the back to school thing. I just think it's super cute. I love it. So, Kathy, thank you for enabling me to buy this because I'm just gonna break these over here. This one, Lucinda Fraser, 1866. I love this sampler. Look at how gorgeous the antique is. Isn't that pretty? I've got that, and this is by Needlework Press. I've got that on order. Well, I'm laughing because I ordered this twice. This is going to be our giveaway, just FYI. So stick around. But I have the fabric and the Oversois 103s, so on order, the called for. I found these. I think they were either on Etsy or eBay. They were like $3 a piece or something like that, but I'd never seen them before, and they might still be in print, but one of them has it's a 2006. So this is Rosewood Manor, blue watercolor butterfly. This came in a trio. So there's blue, there's rose. Oh, focus. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Is that better? And golden. I'm on this butterfly jag. I'm on an everything jag. This is a chart from the work basket. This one I did find on eBay. This was also like just really inexpensive. I think it was less than retail was new, and I'm pretty sure this one's out of chart or out of print. But this is called Big Blue. And it sure is. Look at that house. It's big and it's blue. This is called Halloween 99. This is a hand-drawn chart. There are 2 different charts inside. One of them is called Tombstone Friends, and that's for these guys over here. It's like a little cat, a little skeleton head. And then the winged heads are these ones over here that are kind of on the bat. Is that focusing at all? This is the problem when you get like a little older and you can't see. I can't see close up without my reading glasses. But if I hold this up and then I kind of peek around and I try and look at the viewfinder, or I look at my monitor that I have my camera trained on, then I can't see unless I look away. from my glasses. It sucks. Anyway, this is cute. Joy Taylor, SwardDesigns. I have no idea if it's still in print, but it was really cute. Raise the Roof. This one, I think you could still get because you can still get the buttons for Halloween Town on Kitten Stitcher's website. So I don't know if it is. This one happened to come with the silk pack already in it. But I know she also sells them. The silk. This one's by the Work Basket. It's called Quaker Halloweens. And this is Quaker Owl, Quaker Bat. Peep. And it looks like they've got them finished into little stand-up. I'm not sure if I would, what I would do with those. But the owl is really cute. I've got Sleepy Hollow, Hello by Liz Matthews. I think there's a few folks doing a stitch along on this one. Birds of a Feather, Lost Spirits. This one I think is still available. That also is not a terribly small chart. It's 58 by 172, but that pumpkin looks like he's got a few hours of, but I do love it. And the fabric is, I don't think you can get it anymore. I don't think Birds of a Feather does. Do they do fabric anymore? I don't think so. Or if they do, I don't know where to find it. All right. Now, this is going to be rapid fire. Barbara Anna Designs. These are just some of the spooky autumn, whatever you want to call it. This one's called Midnight. This has a beautiful wool medallion border also. There it is. And this has got a Shakespeare line, Shakespeare quote, which is now the very witching time of night. Love it. This one is Crowded House. So many cute little things going on in that house. Super simple. That one is 100 by 81. So not too big. God, I love this one. Witch Cat. Question mark. It's only 64 by 64. Why have I not stitched this yet? Look how big that kitty is. Maybe I'll stitch some white on the front and make it a tuxedo cat. Maybe I'll make it Hamilton. What do you think, Bets? October 31st. Oh, I love this chart. Oh, it's so cute. Creative Poppy is a great spot to get these. I think you can get most of them download or you can get paper charts. Hocus Pocus. I love how that one is staged. Look at the photo with the buttons and the pine cone, and it's just sitting on that. Oh, it's so cute. Whoever does photos for cross-stitch designers, that's some really, really good people. Autumn Tree. I would imagine probably a lot of the designers do it themselves, huh? Probably. It's impressive. Autumn Tree. I know there's a whole series of these because I think that there's a winter one or a Christmas one, summer one, and all the trees. Wouldn't that be cute to do all the trees kind of in a series just hanging on the wall? Because there's old Halloween tree. Yep, cute, cute, cute. This is called The Branch. There's also a series of these branch ones. And I'm nothing if not a sucker for a series. Come with me, All Hallows Night. We'll frighten everyone in sight. Such pranks for once are justified. A fun and frolic amplified. Within reason. We don't need anyone doing anything crazy or excessively scary. Do we? No, we don't. We don't like that. That's not fun. That's not fun for everybody. Wicked. That one's also little. Well, actually, it's not that little. 132 by 84. The key. Oh, it's so good. There's another key. Spellville. Finished on that hoop. This one is 107 by 97. Now, the cool thing about Barbara Anna is that she uses a lot of the same DMCs between her designs. And so if you got a couple of those and you were to kit them all kind of at the same time, that sometimes makes it a little easier. Okay, so now last thing I'm going to do is go through some kits that I have put together or have come as a set. This is Ruskin's Penguins. This is one of Jacob's newer designs, just this year. This I ordered as a kit from Caroline at Evertote. And Caroline is Off the Grid Needle Arts on both Flosstube and on Instagram. And she's got great videos. But Ruskin's Penguins is super cute. This is a quote, "One can't be angry when one looks at a penguin." It's kind of true. These are Leo and Roxy flosses that go with it, and I have not picked out a piece of fabric yet, but I think I might do this on a piece of American chestnut. I'm not sure yet, but look how gorgeous. Very, very, very cute. Okay, this is the one that I was showing you kind of as an example of the project bag. This is the Harvest Keeper by Plum Street Samplers. So this is the chart. I love her. It's a fall beekeeper. And it's so, so, so cute. I'm missing a couple of the flosses. So I'm sort of waiting to get those, but I do have a few of them. And it's on, I'm doing this on a, I don't know what this is. I thought it was tin roof. I don't know what it is. This is some kind of fabric that I have that I don't know what it is. Sorry. It's some neutral that I may or may not use. But anyway, that'll be cute. So this is the cricket. This is the cross-eyed cricket from it's the cricket collection. Now I'm going to show you the chart first because I just think this is so funny. I love this. This is so, so adorable. This is called Three Gables. And I'm going to take it out so it's not so shiny. Okay, Three Gables. And it's just a simple little house. Neutral. There we go. It's neutral. It looks like just fall colors, kind of brownish, maybe a little orange in there. Right? And it's little. It's, I think it's, how many? Let's see. It's 126 stitches wide by 136 high. So it's not tiny, but it's not huge. Okay? And again, pretty neutral. This is how many colors it has. What? It has so many colors. It's beautiful. I mean, look how pretty that is, but it has like, I mean, this isn't even all of them because I think I'm missing a couple, but look how, anyway. I'm going to do this on a piece of light hazelnut, which is the same color I'm using for Sally Spencer. So, I don't know. I think that'll be really cute, but it's going to be interesting diving into it and figuring out where all these colors go. Look at this bright blue. It's like this purple is beautiful. But holy, that's a lot of colors. Really? Okay. All right, I got this one. Jenn's Stitching Niche. She has a Flosstube. I order things from her fairly frequently. She's got a great store, really good customer service. But this was the first person I ever saw that had this stitched, and she had it completed, was this. And it's the Halloween at Hollyberry Farm. And Emily C is also stitching this one, and it's so pretty. So I've had this one for a while. I finally kitted it up. And I adjusted a few of the called for colors because what I love about this chart is how stark that white and black border is. And the border is a little bit, it's white, but it's like a brighter white than what was called for. So first, I'm going to use a piece of Be Stitch Me Fabric of the Month Club. This is in the colorway Stonehenge. This is 40 count. I love it. It's variegated. It's dark. The called for on this is it's R&R reproduction. It's 18th century rook. I can't find it anywhere. And I love this anyway, so this is what I'm going to use. And these are the flosses that I picked. So most of them are the called for, except there were two that were really, really similar. But this is what I've got so far. And I think that white is going to work out really well. And then the more subtle white will be for the house and the lettering. And we'll see. I know what I'm learning is that when you stitch things up, they look very different than they do when they're just sitting on the skein. And when they get into the fabric, of course, is going to change what the floss looks like. The floss is going to be a little more transparent when it's just a couple of strands rather than an entire swath of it all together. So I get that. But, you know, it's a learning process. And so you stitch things, and part of it for me right now has to do with availability. So I have had this chart also since last year. Prairie Moon, Thine is the Trick and the Treat. Yeah, this is 36 count murky, which I know it's hard to find right now. I got this 5-6 months ago maybe. I think I got this about the same time that I stitched Dracula's Confession by Lindy Stitches, which is right up here. So anyway, the next one is called Alpha Bat. Just the stitching, ma'am. Okay, so this is what I have. This is called Sunflower Fields. It's 36 count and it's by Seraphim. And that will be for this chart, Alphabet by Hands to Work. Oh, I love it. I love it, I love it. And I love that fabric. It's really pretty. It's got this really beautiful variegation. This is by Threadwork Primitives. This is called Primitive Crow. It's very small. This is 31 wide by 71 high. And it's hard to see, but it's got some nice green in there and a little red. And so the fabric on the chart is a greenish but it is Lakeside Linens pear. So I will be doing it on a piece of 36 count Alien from the Moon by SWardDesigns. And I dig it. So yeah. I don't know what I'll do with this one. It's kind of a cute little, it's like a little hanger, you know. It can be a cute. How many more times can I say cute? Are we keeping a cute jar? This also found on eBay. This is called the Sheldon Hawkes House. Sheldon Hawkes House is a real place in Deerfield, Massachusetts. I don't know that there's any crazy story. It's just a historical house, and it is kind of eerie looking. But it still stands. I love that chart. Love it. This is a good housewife, so fairly certain that is out of print. But I found it on eBay. Wasn't expensive. And I'm gonna do that on a piece of 40 count honey by Bee Stitch Me. And there are the colors. Sheldon Hawkes House. Cool, huh? Oh, that's pretty good. Kind of think I want to do Witch Cat and this one because they don't seem like they're that ginormous. Famous last words. Yeah, they're real small. Easy. Stitch them up. Okay. Also, I got this one ages ago and have everything for it. I haven't pulled the DMC yet, but I have every bead. I have all of the water lilies. I've got the Kreinik, and I have this piece of fabric. And once again, not to sound like a broken record, but for these Mirabilia charts, you really do kind of need to use a 32 count because of the way that they are charted and because of the size of the beads. So this is a 32 count piece of Lunar by Bee Stitch Me. And it's this gorgeous blue, gray, periwinkle. And I think that this is going to be beautiful on it. So I've done one Mirabilia already. I did Silver Moon Tea, and this would be the second one that I would stitch. And I can't remember who just finished this. Someone on Instagram is stitching this, and it's beautiful. She's just so pretty. So technically this could have gone into my crow chart pile also. Okay. Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery has a new subsection on his site called Dark Crosses. And I bought this. All are equal in depth. Calavera, which is a sugar skull. It's beautiful. Again, beautiful. La Calavera Katrina. So good. Go watch his most recent video because he explains it so much better. This is a Death's Head hawk moth. The chart's called Silent Wings. Oh, so good. And Mr. Bones. in the garden. So I was watching his video the day that it came out, and I was out in our kind of main room because one of my sewing machines is out there, and I was stitching some project bags. And my husband came home from work, and he sat down, and I showed him a couple of these charts, but I wanted to show him the end of the video. But he's watching through this. You know, my husband is not, he's not indifferent to stitching at all. He's interested in it, and he thinks it's really cool, and he thinks it's, you know, neat that I have a Flosstube channel. But, you know, he doesn't typically come in and comment on a whole bunch of, you know, different charts or ask questions. And he was just sitting watching Jacob show a few of these new patterns. And he just looks at me and he goes, "He's just really good, isn't he?" Yeah, he's really good. But he meant, he's like, I mean, they're just really, really good. Like, all these charts are really good. Yeah, they're really good. And then at the end, and I don't want to spoil anything, but he does a song called Mr. and it's about Mr. Bones. It's about Mr. Bones in the garden. So again, my husband, he's like, they're like halfway through the song, and he's like, "This is really good." He's like, "This should be like at the end of a Pixar movie." So anyway, go watch. If you haven't seen it, if you've seen these charts, but you've never watched his Flosstube, go watch his Flosstube. So he, again, he's partnered with a couple of different patterns. He's coordinated with Caroline with Off the Grid Needle Arts, which is Evertote, the Evertote store, where she'll supply the Leo and Roxy flosses and the paper chart, and they, she can send them to you. So go to her site and go check it out, and they come really nicely packaged, and there is a surprise, a September mystery stitch along that starts September 1st, and that package arrived today. I have not opened it yet. Gwyneth in our group also got it, and she said, "I'm going to wait until September 1st and open it." And so I'm like, I guess I'll wait too. Which is really hard for me. Like, it's just right there. I could just open it right now. But it is a surprise, and so, you know, no spoilers. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked at it yet. I just took it out of the over packaging, and then I just stuffed it into a project bag. So I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen anything, so I like surprises. Anyway, the last thing, Mama Loves You GB also shared this designer, Mama Witch Cross Stitch, and she is on Etsy, and she's got some super cute, this is called Crow Friend. I got that immediately. Look at how, oh, I love those colors. But then look at this one. This one's called Be Happy. I'm gonna be, and Harvest Mice by Mama Witch Cross Stitch. Okay, look at them close up. Oh, they're so cute. See how they're up at the end of the stems? They do that. My mom and I went for a hike up at Mount Rainier a few years ago. Hike is sort of an, we walked from the parking lot kind of down into this one valley area, and they're, oh, it's so gorgeous. There are a couple different places that you can go and observe Mount Rainier. One of them is Paradise. That's kind of where everybody goes. There's a lodge up there. And that when you're there, you're kind of like on the mountain. There's another spot. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, or if you come to visit in the summertime, it's only open for a certain period of time, but there's a park called Sunrise. And you wind around and up, and you get up, and there's another lodge that's up on this hill, but then you're looking out across this valley at Mount Rainier, and the closer you get, the bigger the turns. It's like you're driving to the moon. The thing is massive, and it's so beautiful. But they have these little chipmunks that are up there, and so it's kind of late in the summer, you know, about this time of year, usually July, August, and we're walking, and it's pretty quiet. Like, quiet enough that you could hear rock fall. You could hear the river, like, way coming off the glacier from far, far away. Just that echoey mountain. It was gorgeous. And we'd hear this little, and we'd look over, and there would just be like a little disturbance. Well, we started watching the grass, and they had this tall little seed pods, and these chipmunks would like hop up and grab onto the end of the seed pod and get it. They're so cute. Just can't see anything, can't see anything, just little phew. Anyway. They're so cute. Go buy all her things. What do you think? Think that's enough? I've been working on something else. Another finish that's a little bit involved, a little more involved than I thought it was going to be, but it's probably going to be done not here, or not in the too far distant future. So if I can get this edited down to a somewhat manageable length, I think I will go ahead and post it tomorrow, which should be Tuesday the, whatever, what is it today? Tuesday the 17th? And then before the end of the month, I think I'm going to do another video. And I will do the remainder of the kits that I have that are not autumn themed. And we'll show you that FFO. So, I think that is it. Oh, no it's not. Maybe I'll put this, maybe I'll drop these in the middle someplace. Maybe. A couple floss tubers. Oh, and I have to do my giveaway. A couple floss tubers I want to talk about. One is Samantha, and she is the Huga Stitcher. And she, I think, has one video now. And Samantha is like sunshine wrapped in a sugar cookie with dimples. She's so sweet. And she's so excited to have. I loved watching her video. So that Ruskin's penguins, it's one can't be angry when looking at penguins, or you really, it would be very difficult to be in any kind of a foul mood while watching Samantha. So sweet. So anyway, go watch. I'll put her link. The other one I just saw last night, and her name is Joanita, and her channel is called Stitchy Things, and she stitches almost like every single thing she stitched I want to stitch, pretty much, as far as I can remember. So she's great, and she just did her first video, and I think is it Scott's Stitching in Spain? Oh, I'm gonna have to put that one. I guess that encouraged her, and I just found his channel too. So three little shout outs from my little tiny channel, but I really enjoyed watching all of them. So okay, so giveaway time. I am going to stand by. Oh, this almost landed on my camera. That would have been very bad. So this is the second copy of Lucinda Fraser. I was positive. I have this extensive Excel spreadsheet, but so I have two copies of this, and so one of them is going to be for you all. So if you would like to stitch Lucinda Fraser, 1866 by Needlework Press. In the comments, use the word oops. Oops. I did it again. And as always, please be a subscriber if you don't mind, and like the video, and be 18 so I can ask you for your address when it comes time to do the drawing. I will use the random comment picker. And I think that is it for today. The last thing, and I will talk about this more I think in the next video, but this, I've showed this before, the primitive hair. This is the 2021 cross stitch calendar. These are the photos of each of the 21 charts, or the 12 charts that are in the calendar. And I want to stitch them as one piece, and I want to do it on this piece of 40 count Old Massachusetts, also by the Primitive Hair. And I'm gonna start a stitch along, but I'm not sure when. So if you were interested, maybe put that in the comments that you would like to, that you're interested in. If you have this, or can find it, and I'm sure that it, you know, it's very, very beautiful. But I know that you can still get it. So anyway, hit me up if you're interested in doing that. I think that'd be fun. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming back. Be safe, be nice to each other, and have a happy day. Bye.